Hi everyone, I'm going to do a quick demonstration of how to create a graph in Google Sheets. You can use Excel, you can use numbers, you can use another format to create this, but I'm going to be using Google Sheets today and just showing you how to create a really basic graph with the conventions that we want according to ABA. So first things first, you need a place to enter your data itself. So I'm going to show you how to set up data for a quick percent correct and how to create a graph based off of that. So first things first, we're going to need to enter in the date. So the date is what will be on our x-axis. I'm going to show you in a second. And that is going to be how we look at change over time. So we're specifically going to be making a line graph, which looks at change over time, which is why we have to have this date element. So in this example, we're going to have percent, or let's do independent matches, prompted matches, and then percent independent matches. So I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to wrap this so that this can be viewed. All right, so here we have this column and here we have a row. So in the column, you would enter the data below that corresponds. So if on our data sheet we have independent matches, so this is from an actual data from a client. Let's see, 1/1/24. Let's do data from 1/2/24. And you can actually use this if you highlight over and drag down, it will autofill. So I'm just going to put some hypothetical data in here. Let's do 5. And then all right. So if we remember that percent is the correct over the total or a certain number over the total, in this case it would be independent matches over the total number of matches, we have to create a formula to add that up. So anytime you're creating a formula in Google Sheets or any other software, you're always going to start with an equal sign. So equals, and then I'm going to click on the cell that I want, so independent, and then remember percent is the value over the total. So I'm going to do a parentheses, remembering our PEMDAS, the total. So independent plus prompted is the total. And that's going to give us this value. I'm going to convert this to a percentage or format it as a percentage. And then you can drag this down and it will automatically calculate all of these values. You can keep dragging it down further as you add more data in. And then based off of this, I have the foundation that I can make my graph off of. So here we have the date, and then I'm going to want to be graphing the percent of matches. So I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to click Insert, and then Chart. And then here we have our chart that we can customize. Right now, this is a bar graph. We don't want a bar graph. We want a line graph. So I'm going to select line chart. What's nice about this is that you can just click on the piece that you want to edit and then update it then. We're missing right now though our x-axis. We want date to be on that. So I'm going to click here on x-axis and then select the date range. And then I'm going to highlight this whole column. So now we have the date range. So a couple of things looking at this. I am going to want to make sure that this title is centered. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to center it. I'm going to change the color to black. And then you would want to update this if it didn't have the right thing. So right now it has percent independent matches, which is fine for this chart. And then we still need, though, that's our chart title. We need our horizontal axis title. So this is going to be date. And then we already have our vertical axis title for our y-axis. So I'm going to click on this so we can format. We're missing our data points. So I need to click on this, add our data points. I'm going to make this line color black. And then I'm going to add a trend line here. Make that gray. So we can see how the data is trending overall. And then the last thing that I need to do is remove these grid lines, as well as add the axis line here. So first I'm going to go to the vertical axis. I'm going to click show axis line, and then I'm going to go to the grid lines and ticks, and I'm going to uncheck that, and I'm going to do major ticks instead. And then for the horizontal axis, I'm going to uncheck major grid lines and then check major ticks. And so here is our graph based off of the data. And you can do this for duration data. You can do it for anything else. One thing I want to point out is the vertical axis here is already from 0 to 100. You always want to make sure if you're doing percent that it's always going from 0 to 100. If it wasn't, you could click on this. You're going to do minimum value 0, maximum value 1 for 100 here. Or if you didn't have it as a percentage, you could do the number 100. So this is just a really basic tutorial on how to create a graph using standard conventions from ABA.